What's up, everybody? Well, it's the Eagles PO here, and today we are going to be recording a tier list video on just the MLB teams. So, yeah, we have S tier, A tier, I, not the worst, and the worst. So, let's get started with the Angels. Now, I'm gonna put them, they're an okay team. Now, Mike Trout is carrying them, but I feel like they have a lot of potential there, just they're not doing the best, so I'll put them in not the worst. Astros, this team, S tier. They've got such a good offense and such good pitching. Like, they have Verlander, Cole, Miley. They have a lot of guys right now, and they also have, as far as hitting goes, they have Jose Altuve, Correa, George Springer. They just have an insane team right now, and they're winning the ALS for West for sure. And yeah, that's why they're S here. So the A's, I'm gonna put them in. Let's put them in I. They're not the best team, but they have good players, and they're a pretty good team in most cases. So yeah, they're gonna be I. The Blue Jays, not the worst. Now, a lot of people would put them in the worst because they're not doing that good, but I think that the reason I'm putting them in not the worst is because they have a lot of prospects right now and a lot of really good young talent that can grow, like Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, whenever he gets called up. They just have a lot of really good guys on that team. So yeah, Blue Jays, not the worst. I'm going to put the Braves in A tier. Now, I do believe they are the best team in the NL West, but that division is not the best division. They have, on their team, they have Freddie Freeman. That's really the only name that comes to mind. They have Ronald Acuna Jr. too. And they've got some good pitching. And, but yeah, they're just an A tier team, I think. So, yeah. Next team, Milwaukee Brewers. I'm debating on these two. I'm gonna put them in A. They don't have good starting pitching. As far as pitching goes, their team is riding on Josh Hader. Like, he's the only good pitcher on their team, but their offense, really good. Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich, Mike Moustakas is doing good this year. They just got a lot of good talent on offense, and their defense is really good too to back up their bad pitching. So they're an A tier team. St. Louis is going in I. They're definitely underperforming this year. They got Goldschmidt. He isn't doing as good as they wanted him to. Their best player is injured right now, Marcelo Ozuna. And yeah, everyone thought they would be one of the better teams this year, but they've really not done much, so they're I. I'll put the Cubs in A tier because, I mean, they've got a good team. They've got a really good manager in Joe Madden. They have Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. Their pitching, I think, is what lacks a bit the most. Wilson Contreras is there too. And but they're gonna win the NL Central. That's a really tough division. And I think they're an A tier team. Diamondbacks, they're a good team. They always end up getting like the wild card spot somehow, but then they always lose to the Dodgers because, well, their division is the toughest to win in because of the Dodgers. And they're just a good overall team. They have Ketel Marte. They got rid of some of their good guys like Paul Goldschmidt, but they're still performing pretty well for what they have. Alright, LA Dodgers. S tier. I don't know what else to say. They have really good pitching, really good offense. They're just on this year, and probably for another like 2 years. They've made the World Series past 3 years or 2 years. They still haven't won the World Series, but I believe that this year is the year that they could. So, yeah, they're an S tier team. San Francisco Giants, I'm putting them in the worst. Now I know some people would get mad at me for that, like Giants fans, but they're not doing good. They're in a rebuilding process. They definitely have some good talent, but they're about to trade away Madison Bumgarner and their better players because they're rebuilding right now, and that's why they're the worst team in the NL West, and just not a good team overall. Alright, I think this is the Indians. So, Indians, I'm putting them in I. Now, they are having a bit of an off year this year compared to how they've done past years, but their offense has just not been there. A lot of people are speculating that they're going to trade like their pitching, Trevor Bauer. They have really good pitching. I'll give that to them. In what probably the worst division in baseball, the AL Central, but I think they're just an I team. Mariners, I went to a game in T&T Park not TNT, T-Mobile Park this year, and I saw that their pitching is horrible. They don't have much offense going for them, so they're going to be in the worst category. Yeah, each year they start off really hot and they do really good, but then they just implode on themselves. They can't hold a lead or whatever. They can't hold doing good in the division for that long, so that's why they're the worst. Okay, Miami Marlins. I'm going to drag them in here too. Worst team in the NL, I think. That might be debatable, but they're not a good team. They're also rebuilding. They traded away a lot of their good talent in Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich. They have some good young pitching that over there, but that's about it. So yeah, they're in the worst category. I'll put the Mets, not the worst, but not the best. They have Pete Alonso. Their offense isn't really that good this year. I haven't heard much about the Mets. I mean, they're pitching. Noah Syndergaard's having an off year, and they're having speculations of him being traded. But yeah, they're pitching. They have DeGrom going for them. That's about it. And yeah, I don't think that they're a good team this year. So, not the worst. Washington Nationals. Now, I'm going to put them in I because they are currently second in their division, and that's kind of surprising to me because their team, they traded away Bryce Harper, who was really the only big name on their team besides Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Anthony Rendon. He's an underrated player. Juan Soto. They have a lot of good players on this team that are super underrated, and their pitching's really good too, so I'll put them in the I tier. Orioles, we already know where they're going, the worst team in the league. They're also rebuilding. They're not a good team at all. They don't have good players. They're currently rebuilding. So, yeah, the worst. Padres, this year they're doing okay, but I'm still going to put them in not the worst just because they have Manny Machado, they have Eric Hosmer, but they don't have much pitching, and they're just, I don't know, this is the first year in a while that they've been able to really compete, but they're still not the best team, or not the worst. So the Phillies, I'll put them in not the worst, because they signed Bryce Harper, or they traded him for him, and I think that it was a mistake giving him his contract like that, but he really has underperformed, as I think the whole team has. Jake Arrieta has underperformed. Just a lot of guys from their team have underperformed. Their team as a whole has underperformed. Like Rhys Hoskins not having nearly as good of a year as last year. So, yeah, they're not the worst. I'm going to put the Pirates in not the worst. They've got some young talent. Josh Bell has been really good for them this year, and I just think that they could be a team. They're in the toughest, like the most competitive division right now, the NL Central, and they're still a good team even though they're in last place. So, yeah. Rangers, they're going in I. They're an okay team. Hunter Pence has been doing really good for them. They've had some good pitching. Joey Gallo has been doing good, but they're still in the team with, or in this division with the Astros, so that's really hard to beat. So they're gonna fall into the I tier. Tampa Bay is going A tier. They have the opener, and I think that's been working out really well for them. They're currently the lowest paid team. Like, they have the least amount of attendance and the least amount of players getting paid a lot, but they're still figuring out a way to win. They don't need these superstars that get paid huge contracts to win games, so that's why I'm putting them in A tier. Cincinnati Reds, I feel like they're an underrated team, so I'm putting them in not the worst because they've got some guys that have been good for them this year. Yasiel Puig has been okay. Derek Dietrich's really starting to come out and hit. Luis Castillo has been pitching good. Sonny Gray. They've just got a good team. They're just in a really competitive division, so that's why they're going not the worst. Boston Red Sox are going in A tier. I don't think they're winning the AL East this year, or they might not even make the wild card. They're just not doing that good. Their offense has been lacking a bit. Mookie Betts hasn't been the good player he has in the past, and also their pitching is horrible. They can't find starting pitching, so that's why they're going in A tier. Colorado Rockies. I'm going to put them in, A tier. They've got a lot of good players on that team that no one talks about. Like Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story, David Dahl, all of them are really good. I think they're just lacking in pitching, kind of like the Red Sox, except the Red Sox are also lacking in offense too. I'm actually moving them into I. Kansas City, bad team. They're about to sell all their players. They're rebuilding right now. I guess they have Whit Merrifield. That's about it. They're one of the worst teams in baseball. Detroit, it hurts me to put them there, but they're in the worst right now. They are rebuilding. They're about to sell off their best players. Also, we're rebuilding, but give it 2 or 3 years, we'll be up here in the S tier. So yeah, I'm gonna put the Minnesota Twins in S tier. Now they are leading the AL Central, and they're leading in RBIs, batting average. They might not be leading batting average. RBIs, runs, home runs. They're just doing insanely good this year, and I think they deserve S tier. White Sox, not doing bad this year. I'm going to put them in not the worst. Not the worst. No, I didn't want to put the Yankees there. Okay, Yankees are S tier. White Sox, not the worst. Yankees going off this year. They're going to be in the World Series, I think. I want the Twins to, but they're in the World Series. And then the White Sox are doing really good this year. They have some good young talent. Eloy Jimenez, Tim Anderson, and yeah. So that will conclude my tier list for today. Let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, I guess I'll see everyone later. Peace.